Howdy folks, Greyhawk 4x4 coming at you again, your resident vintage gamer, and this is going to be my post-GaryCon video. So, yes, went to GaryCon again this year, which was last Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and once again I drove, but this time my wife didn't go with me. A buddy of mine here from Utah, who's in my D&D game back here, Mr. Brad, he rode in the truck on the road trip, and then another buddy of ours from LA, Chris, one of my oldest friends, he flew to Chicago and met us in Chicago. So Brad and I, we took off and did the 1,500-mile trip to Chicago in 2 days. Got there and met up with Chris and started, so we got there on I guess it would have been Monday, and or no, Sunday. It would have been Sunday. We got there because we traveled Saturday, Sunday, got there Sunday night, and spent Monday and Tuesday in Chicago tooling around because the convention didn't start until Thursday. So Monday and Tuesday we're in Chicago, and we're going and seeing all the local stuff, the museums, you know, the Field Museum and the Shed Aquarium, which both, by the way, if you have not ever been there, try to make it a point to get to Chicago for no other reason to see those two things. They're both spectacular. The Field Museum is just ridiculous. It's probably second to the Smithsonian. So, and then the Shed is one of the best aquariums in the United States. So, I would highly recommend those. And then, of course, the other thing, of course, is the food. So, like the first night we went to Gibson's and got, you know, gigantic steaks, and then we went to Giordano's and got Giordano's, I believe it's pronounced, and got the famous deep dish pizza, and got Chicago hot dogs and Italian beef sandwiches, the whole bit, you know, and just had spectacular time. Few stories from Chicago. There's one story I probably can't even tell on the air, but let's just say, I'll put it this way, the local flavor, the locals and the local flavor did not disappoint. When you think of the stereotypical Chicagoan type personalities, yep, saw them, heard them, experienced it. So, anyway, so then we, on Wednesday morning, drove up to Lake Geneva, where the con is held, and of course, which is the birthplace of D&D, and did the check-in thing at the hotel because we had to get to Frank Mentzner's Franken party, as he calls it, at his home, which is on Wednesday afternoon and evening. And so we got checked in, made it out to Frank's, which is, you know, a drive in itself. It's about another 30 minutes to get to Frank's house, and just, you know, met a bunch of people there, saw some of the old gaming relics and all that type of thing. And one of the things that Frank does is each year he gives out a different die, and what these dice are, they are prototype dice from way back in the old school TSR days, and so he has bunches of these things. And last year I got a regular blue D20, and then this year he had orange D8s and the Caltrops D4s. That, you know, to everybody in attendance gets one of those, and they're the old school ones, you know, that you got to get a crayon and you got to color in the numbers and everything. So I've got 3 of a set now. So if I decide to go back, I can try and complete my set of the old prototype dice. The other thing that, and excuse me, see, this is one of those things when you don't edit, which I'm not going to do anymore, because it takes up too much of my time, is that people get to see you fumbling around for shit and stuff like that. So, you're welcome. Anyway, the other thing he gave out was he came out with a new game called Fairy Tale. It's Fairy Tale Games is the name of it, and it's a new game by Frank Messner, and it has all the game rules and even a beginner little adventure there. And what this is, and of course he signed them for us. This is basically just using a plain deck of cards, and it's a role-playing game. Too much detail for me to go into here in this video, but each suit is a different power. Like, one suit is your strength, another one is magic, another one is I think agility, and another one is spirit, I think, or something like that. I can't remember all four of them, but you get the idea. And you use your powers, and you can trade cards to trade powers and abilities and things like, or additional amounts of power to other people to help. And nevertheless, it's a very fun, quick, easy to learn. Just sit down with a regular deck of playing cards and a couple of the cards that he has in here, and you're off to the races. So I'm not sure when he's going to have that available for, purchase or whatever, PDFs or whatever he's going to do with it. But because we got to go there, he gave us all a copy of it for free. So that was all very cool. And then the next day, of course, is when the con starts off. So that night, I had they give you a cup. Oh, that is the one thing. I have it up there. You can't really see it, but they give you a plastic cup. Well, I shouldn't say they give it to you. You got to buy them. They're $20 when you get there. And it's like a 20-ounce cup. And what that does is, for the entire duration of the con, you can get it refilled with beer for $3 for every refill. Which are normally, for that, would be at least $6 to get a refill. So you get so if you drink enough beer, you're going to pay for the cup and more, But the kicker is that in addition to the discount on, I think it was Friday and Saturday night, 2 nights, from 5 to 7, there was a happy hour, and the beer was free for those 2 hours. You could just sit and drink beer, free. So, $20, what a bargain. Anyway, I got the cup up there. Just a plain red cup that has the Gary Con 10 logo on it and so forth. So, got that and got a challenge coin. And I don't know how well this will come up, but we'll try. We'll put it on the camera here and see how well it comes up. And the reason I bought this challenge coin is that it's two-sided and it's for the last 2 years. It is for 2017 and 2018, and I went to both. So I figured, well, that's awesome because I was at both, so I might as well get a coin. And let's see if this shows up on it. So there you have, let's see if it'll focus. There we go. And of course you got some glare on it. And that one is the 2000, and what is that? That's 2017 on that side, and this is 2018 on this side. See if we can get that to focus again, please. See if we can do the old trick where you hold up your hand next to it and see if it'll make it focus. There you go. And there you go. So, very cool. I mean, that's freaking solid. And if you don't know how challenge coins are actually used, I would suggest that you Google it. It's a military thing, but pretty much anybody can do it. But it's something that started in the military, so check it out. So got that, and then started going to the vendor booths and all that. And of course, and I always go in there thinking, I'm not going to spend that much. I've already got a lot of stuff. I mean, I've got this entire everything here. What more do I need, right? Well, of course I need more, apparently, because I always bring back more. So, but I found what I generally try to do is, because I do have a lot of crap, and when I say that as a term of endearment. When I say crap, I mean I love all my crap. So, and I use probably 95%. There might be 5% that's never been used or whatever, but I try to rotate everything through, either on display or when we play our D&D games or whatever. So, you know, it all gets used. But I try to find things that I don't already have, you know, any types of or any examples of at all. So I have been looking for an example and the correct pronunciation of this monster in D&D is Boule. It is not a bullet, which, I mean, a lot of people call it a bullet. It's a land shark, and it's my favorite monster in D&D. It was originally created by Tim Kask, who was at the con, and I finally found a decent one, so I had to pick that one up. And then this was kind of cool. It's just like a totem or an obelisk, you know, type of a thing. Well, it's not an obelisk, but I mean, it's a totem, you know, column, whatever you want to call it. And I thought, well, quite often when you are DMing, something like that will be in the dungeon. And so now we have something to represent that on the playmat, and we, you know, just something to give it some scale and scope and so forth. And because we're going through the Elemental Evil campaign right now, I'm picking up elementals whenever I can find them. And there's a small air elemental that I found, and found a large fire elemental. So that might come in handy. You never know, you know, with the campaign we happen to be in right now. So if you're one of my players, well, that wouldn't surprise you. And then I found something called a Shadow Demon, and I thought that was a pretty cool figure. So I was like, well, I'll get that one. Requires no painting, you know. So, and then there was a guy there that had just buckets of piles of just lead, you know, or pewter or whatever, minifigs, just buckets of them, and he was selling the stuff by the ounce. So you just got he had little Tupperware things that you would carry around and put your stuff in, and then you would just weigh the thing, and then you pay by the ounce. But you had to dig through all this stuff, you know. And I was trying to find some stuff that I did not have at all. And I've never had an elephant with a saddle on it. So I assume if the campaign ever evolves into maybe going to some type of jungle terrain where there may be elephants used, you know, by the locals or something like that, I have one now. I would have bought more, but he only had one. And same thing with I've never seen decent camels. And this guy had some really decent, nice detailed, if this will focus for me, please. See here, please focus for me. Camera, come on now. You know you want to. See if we can get that. Please focus. Well, anyway, take my word for it. It's got decent, it's a pack camel. It's got decent detail and everything on it. And again, he only had one. I would have probably bought between 4 and 6 of these. If he had 6, I probably would have bought 6. Because you never know when this could go to an Arabian, you know, type theme in my campaign. And of course, the characters wouldn't be using horses; they'd probably be using camels. So that was something I thought was kind of neat. I wish I could have got more of them. A couple other things. There was a nice stag in there, which my characters seem to always get that like as a random encounter, and I've never really seen that as a mini before. So got one of those. Of course, the guy had a coffin, and you know how often that comes up. So got one of those, and then some more stuff that was just like room decorations, you know, like a wizard's table and a bookshelf, that kind of thing, with potions and books and stuff on it. So that kind of stuff that will help, you know, when I'm describing a room or something. If those items are, I can just set them down, you know, to help give the room, you know, some flavor, scale, whatever. And then, oh, got a fountain, because that comes up quite a bit in the game. Is, you know, somewhere there'll be a fountain, and you can just set that down and put the characters in. You know, rather than just drawing it, you can just set it there. Gives it a better look. Got a slave master and some slaves that, again, if they go into like an Arabian type setting or something like that, where that was the case, then I have figures for it. And the 2017, I didn't get this last year because I think they ran out of them, but they got more in. The 2017 Demogorgon and Paladin set. And that's not going to show up probably because it's in the package too, and I'm not going to open it. I haven't decided if or when I'm going to open it, but take my word for it. There's a Demogorgon and a Paladin, and so got those. That takes care of all the figures, and then I think I got, these are some pretty cool dice that if you bought a certain amount in figures, that you got some free dice. And the reason I picked these, you got 5 of these, they're D6s. And for the 6, they have a skull and crossbones for the 6. Which, of course, we're not going to be able to. See if we can get you to, come on now. I wish this thing would focus better. I have to get a new camera at some point. It just doesn't want to focus for me. And it was doing it earlier. But anyway, again, take my word for it. That is a skull and crossbones. So yeah, and they were like a blood red with gold on them, so I thought that's pretty cool. Not that I needed more dice, but they were free. So, got a book from the Field Museum. You guys probably don't care about that, but again, go to Chicago, go to this museum. Trust me. There's the program from the con itself, the event guide, which was actually very nicely done. And, of course, it's done in the red box style. And, you know, a lot of pictures in here, and different things. And they've even got, you know, a few different quotes from people in here. And all different kinds of stuff. It was very nice to get. That was a freebie, you know, for your ticket price. You know, you got that. Then I wasn't even planning on buying this, but we decided, my 2 buddies and I, we decided one day it'd be fun if we just started our own game, because there's tables, you know, where you have to look for, you know, looking for players, that type of thing, and hopefully it's the kind of game you want to play, and so we said, well, what if we just do our own, just find a table and just do one ourselves. And my one buddy from LA, he's been wanting to get back into the game, but he's got everybody's going to be playing with, most of them are going to be new to the game. And he asked what would be the easiest for them, and I said, well, 5th edition. They could just go out to a game store and buy, or Amazon, and buy the 5th edition starter set or books or whatever, and just get started. I said that would, you know, I mean, preferably you would want to play 1st edition, of course, but it would be more difficult for them to find used 1st edition stuff and everything. So I said, well, you probably want to do 5th edition, you know, just for ease of that. And so he just went ahead and bought all the 5th edition books right there at the con. He just bought them. And he says, well, you know, if I buy those, can you DM us, you know, for you know, a game? And I was like, sure. And I saw this, and this is the new, it's from Goodman Games, and it is Into the Borderlands. And what they've done is they got the license, you know, paid for the license from Wizards of the Coast to produce this for 5th edition. And they've taken 2 of the old basic modules, Search of the Unknown and Keep on the Borderlands, and they've converted them for 5th edition in here. But that is a thick book, and it was $50. That's worth $50 to me, you know. But they also have the original content for both in here. They have all the original artwork. They have additional content that they added in addition to these, and the conversions and so forth. So it's a lot for your money. And I said, well, I'll just buy this, and I'll just DM this. He got the rule books, and I said, we'll just make a day of it. And so we went into we went into what's known as the Geneva Club at the the Grand Geneva Resort. And this is a separate room that you pay an additional fee each day that you can get access to, and they have snacks and sodas and stuff in there, and a big fireplace, and it's just a place to relax, and they got TVs in there and so forth. And so if you're hungry and you just want to go in and get snacks and sodas and everything else, that's all included. You just go help yourself. But they also have like a small little private room in there, and with a big circular table and everything. And we're like, well, I guess we'll just play in here. And we just set up in there, and we played all day in there. And we had the snacks right there and the sodas right there and everything. And it was just, no one said anything, no one complained. So that's what we did. We had a ball. And I DM'd that. They got through almost the first full level of the In Search of the Unknown, of that dungeon, before we finally petered out and said that's enough for the day. But that was a blast. And one of the things with buying this, I don't know if this was just at the con, like a special, or whatever, but for buying that, you also got a free set of dice, of course, with a dice bag. And the dice bag, and hopefully this will come up, it has the famous, Tomb of Annihilation, Tomb of Horrors artwork there, embossed on the bag, and a set of dice. But here's the weird part. You know how when you get polyhedral dice, you generally get either a 7-piece set, or, which I prefer, you get a 10-piece set. And the difference is, when you get a 10-piece set, instead of getting only 1 d6, you get 4, which allows you to use those for rolling up characters, like in first edition and so forth. But if you get a 7-piece, you only get 1. So here's the weird part. This is a 9-piece set. What they did here was they gave you the 4 d6s, like you would get in a 10-piece set, but for some weird reason, they only give you one 10-sided. They don't give you the percentile die, that gives you the 10s, 20s, 30s, they just give you the single digit 10-sided. And I was so perplexed by this, I went back to the vendor and I said, hey, not a big deal. I said, but I'm just curious, are they supposed to be 9-piece sets, or did I just get unlucky and get one that was missing one? And so he pulled a couple other ones out, and each one of them, they all had 9. So anyway, it was one of the weird oddity things that I couldn't quite figure out. Never seen that before. But these are obviously from Wizards of the Coast, because on the D20, and the D20, they made much larger in the set, as you can see here. But on the D20, for the 20, is the new 5th edition, D&D logo. So they're obviously Wizards of the Coast die. And that was just for buying that book. You got these for free. Your 9-piece set. So there's that. And then last but not least, because I am part of the new TSR, I got my advanced copy of Top Secret New World Order, our game. Our publisher and my boss, Jason, was able to bring our advanced copies. He only got enough, I don't know how many he got, but he got enough for each of the design team, and then I think he got a couple other ones, but he was able to bring these to the con. I haven't opened mine. I'm not going to open mine until I know that all of our Kickstarter backers have gotten theirs. I'm not going to open mine until I know that. And the crates, the big crates came off the container ship with these cleared customs. It was the last word I got from Jason. So they should be heading to the fulfillment house / warehouse, and then they start getting shipped out and that's handled all by the fulfillment house once they have the stuff in place and everything. So as soon as I know everybody's receiving theirs, then I will open mine. And I might do an unboxing or something like that for the channel. But anyway, I just thought that was kind of a neat thing. I've already seen what's in it. I helped put it together, so I don't need to necessarily open it. But anyway, that is basically the loot from the convention. And then, of course, there was all the experiences of, I mean, play tested another card game from our friend Larry Hamilton, who helps us at TSR as well. And that was a fun card game. Of course, it's too long to go into more details and everything here. But when it gets released and everything, I'll definitely be telling you guys about it so that you can, if you want to pick one up or find out more about it, I'll let you know. His website, and he probably has more details on there, is called followmeanddie.com. I believe is his website. That's his blog. So you might be able to check it out there. And matter of fact, I'll check and see if that's the link. I'll just put a link down below. You guys can just follow it. So, excuse me, losing the voice here. Drank a lot of beer. Drank too much beer. Well, yeah, I guess you can drink too much beer, yeah. Had one day where I got dehydrated. Felt pretty crappy. So, got to remember to drink water, too. That's a key. You think by this age, when you have this, you'd think you'd know that already, but not always the case. And then the Lifetime Achievement Award was presented to Margaret Weiss, who, of course, helped produce Dragonlance, the Dragonlance campaign game world type thing. And that was pretty much it. That was the con. Ate a lot of good food, drank a lot of beer, played a lot of games, met a lot of people. Ta-da! So, and I got new, these are those progressive bifocal deals. I've never had that before, so I am really struggling on getting used to using them. So you see me doing this, it's because I'm trying to read through the bottom, and yeah. And you get dizzy until you get used to them, I guess. It takes about a week, but anyway, so I'm trying to deal with these too. So anyway, that's it, guys, and we'll catch you on the flip side.